Hey, what's up, gun nuts? It's Ferrari Steve from RealGunReviews.com. Let's do an unboxing video for the SIG Sauer P226 Legion. Now, there's a lot of marketing hype going around about the Legion. Some guys buy into it, some don't. I'm going to leave that up to you. Let's just talk about what the gun is, and you can decide whether or not the hype is worth it. So, one thing you notice on an unboxing, you get a lot more stuff in the box. You get your standard manual, but you get a number of stickers. There's a Legion sticker, looks like it's designed to go in your back window. You get the SIG sticker, which actually has been coming in most current SIGs. There's another sticker in here somewhere too. Here we go. Another little Legion sticker. I don't know what you want to put that on. Maybe a gun box or something. And then you get some brochures. So one of the brochures, SIG is launching their new ammunition line. I haven't shot it yet, but I hear it's pretty good. So there's a brochure on that. SIG has switched over. They no longer push Milcom, but they now push this stuff, the Lucas Oil gun products, which seems to have a lot of gun products. And Lucas Oil is pretty good stuff. I kind of wish AMSOIL would do gun stuff, and maybe this will push them into it. It comes with a little tube of the extreme duty Lucas gun oil. Now, I'm a fan of both oil and grease and SIG Sauers, but again, whatever your personal preference is for cleaning or lubrication products, you know, my position is any cleaning or lubrication products are better than no cleaning lubrication products. So use whatever works for you. You'll also get the Legion series brochure. Now, when you buy a Legion, SIG says you join the Legion, which is basically you get to log in on their website to buy expensive stuff with the logo on it that you can't buy unless you own the gun. For example, this really cool Hinderer XM18 knife. Not cheap, but boy, it does look pretty slick. You can buy holsters, you can get this little key fob thing, you can get this little Surefire X300U light with the logo on it, but you're going to pay about $100 extra having that logo. For me, it's not worth it to get the logo stuff, unless you get the free logo stuff, like this soft-sided box. The only downfall is it doesn't have a handle. I might put a handle on it, but you get this case for your Legion when you call SIG after you buy it, and it has this little coin in it. And this little challenge coin has the Legion logo on one side and the model of Legion gun that you bought, this one being the P226. It's kind of cool. It's got a little spot to put that pocket knife if you want it in your magazines, but without a handle, this really isn't much use to me except for just completeness with the gun. But really, the reason you should have bought the gun is none of that other stuff. It's for the gun itself. It comes with 2 magazines here, 1 in the gun, so a total of 3. One thing I did notice is it didn't have the little band around it that you normally get. Let's put this all aside. We'll do a quick safety check. Check the magazine. And the gun is clear. So let's talk about, outside of the marketing hype and the Legion-y stuff you can buy, what you get. We already said you get 3 magazines. You get a SIG Sauer P226, which already, out of the box, is a great and storied and classic and highly usable firearm. But what do you get that's extra? Well, one of the first things you notice is these grips. These grips are custom grips to the Legion. They're made by Hogue. They're made out of G10. If you buy the G10 Extreme Checker grips, they look a lot like this, except the logo. And this little extra pad here and this little extra pad here, those are unique to these grips. Otherwise, these are the Hogue Extreme G10 grips. So you can get pretty close with that. These little extra pads here, just to give you an extra couple grippy surfaces, which is a theme you'll notice all throughout the gun. So let's look at that. You get grippy surfaces here. You get checkering on both the front and bottom of the trigger guard. You get checkering on the front of the frame here. You get the cocking serrations that you would normally get on an Elite here on the front part of the slide on both sides. And for all intents and purposes, this slide, to me, looks like it's an Elite slide, with the exception of the Legion logo put into it. Otherwise, it looks like an Elite slide to me. You get the big extractor here. So as far as the slide goes, that's the big difference. On the frame, the big difference you'll notice is this Beaver Tail. I call this the intermediate Beaver Tail, and I don't know what SIG calls it. Oh, they call it the reduced and contoured Elite Beaver Tail. So if you have an Elite, I've got a couple Elites. Maybe I should have pulled them out for the video. But anyway, the Beaver Tail comes out really far, which makes it nice to hold, but not so good for concealment. If you get the a regular 226 like this, you'll notice it's just got a little kind of, not even really a beaver tail, just a little bob tail here. And you know, you can kind of slide up on it. Here, this is all designed about getting you a nice, good affirmative grip, and so that and the grips and the grip, the contouring and the checkering all work together. One more thing that works together on that is a little bit of undercut relief here, which SIG pioneered with their X series, the X5 and the X6 target pistols. Again, it's just one more little tweak, and I can't really pick. Well, maybe we'll talk about the trigger later, but ignoring the trigger, there's no one thing on this gun that just stands out and says, oh man, that's what I need. I gotta have it just for that. But when you add up all the pieces together, I think you end up with something compelling, especially when you look at the price and what it would cost to take a standard 226 there. I don't think you're doing so bad with the Legion. Another thing you notice, so that's, you know, those are all related to grip and kind of how the gun feels. Another thing you might notice is what SIG calls the low-profile slide catch and decocking levers. And they're designed to stay out of the way of your thumb when you're here manipulating the gun. But the dirty little secret is these aren't new, or they're not even unique to the Legion. These are actually standard P224 levers. So you can buy these, just call SIG and order the P224 levers. I think this one's like 10 bucks and this one's like 20 bucks. And you can throw them in any 226 or any P-series gun that'll support it, and you're good to go. Let's see what else we can notice here. Well, the color, obviously, it's a unique color. They call it their Legion Gray. It's a PVD process. Ion Bond is who does all the coatings for SIG. They've done their nitron stuff. They do their phosphate coating. They also do coatings for Remington out of the same shop in New Hampshire. They set up a shop in New Hampshire to do all the coatings for SIG and Remington. And that's you know, pretty much everything you can see from the outside that's unique to the gun. We'll talk about the trigger in a second. Oh, the sights. There we go. The sights are something new as well. You've got this big dot front sight with the blacked out rear sights. They're night sights, but also have this big neon green front dot, which look a heck of a lot like the Trigicon HDs, which come in orange and yellow, which I run on my P220. But boy, they look like an exact clone of those. And SIG calls these their X-ray sights. However, if you look really close, you'll see the number on this is TGH3, and this is TGH3 on the back. And I know that TrueGlow has made sights for custom SIG guns in the past. TrueGlow actually made the front sights for the P226 Blackwater. So I'm wondering if that TG on SIG's X-ray sights actually means TrueGlow. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see TrueGlow come out with a Trigicon HD competitor real soon. So you heard it here first. You get the standard rail that comes on a railed 226. Nothing special there. Well, we'll talk about the guide rod in a minute when we take it apart. But really, if there was one thing about the Legion that stands out, and if you pick it up and you dry fire it and makes the gun follow you home, it's going to be the trigger. So a standard 226 old school trigger is like this. And guys like me, I have to reach really far to get that first shot off, and it's kind of uncomfortable. SIG does sell, they sell their standard trigger, obviously. They also sell what SIG calls their short trigger, not to be confused with the short reset trigger kit. And they also call it their reduced reach trigger. So the short trigger or the reduced reach trigger are the right names for it. And it's really just a slimmer profile to help you get to that trigger so that you're not reaching as far with the grip. So these G10 grips help you get in closer to it, but this is actually a third-party trigger made by Gray Guns, owned by Bruce Gray. If you don't know who he is, Google him. He's been SIG armor and very well respected for a long time. And it's an intermediate reach trigger, meaning that you don't have to reach as far to get it. It sits, you know, the surface here sits closer to your palm than the standard trigger, but not quite as close as the short trigger. But the feel of it is fantastic. It's also got an adjustable over travel in it, so that after the break, you can adjust how far it continues to move. It's got the short reset trigger kit in it, which is from SIG, and SIG's armorers also do some custom work inside the gun, some polishing and some gunsmithing on the action. So when you combine all those together, you get a really, really, really smooth double action, single action trigger. So reaching for that double action shot, we've already cleared the gun and checked that it's safe. We're pointing in a safe direction. That first shot, it's still a 10-pound pull, but because of how your hand is sitting and where your finger is sitting, it makes it a lot easier. But really, what sells the gun is this. that reset. Look how minuscule that is. Very little motion before you hit that wall for that break again. So if you're someone who likes to ride that reset, look at that. That's what's going to make you buy the gun and take it home, because you can't recreate that without spending a lot of money. You got to buy the gray trigger, the gray guns trigger. You've got to either pay Gray Guns or some gunsmith or SIG for the action work, and pop in an SRT kit, which is another 60 bucks. So that is just another element where this gun, I really think the Legion is the type of gun where the whole is more than just the sum of its parts. Let's open it up and show you there's nothing magic on the inside. I mean, it's pretty much a standard 226 frame, except with this, you know, just right beaver tail. Nothing else inside of note. You can kind of peek in there and see the adjustable Allen screw there to adjust the over travel. If you kind of peek inside them, see if I can get the light just right. Maybe not. It's kind of hard to see there. Oh, maybe there. See that little circle in there? You can adjust the over travel on the trigger. On the slide, like I said, it looks like an Elite slide with the addition of the engraving. But what's neat is, I won't even take the barrel out. It's a standard barrel. This is a solid guide rod. And SIG has not had solid guide rods in a long time. They used to have that hollow style. In fact, here's the hollow style. You see it's hollowed out right there. Or you've even seen some plastic guide rods in recent years. Man, I hate that. That sucks. But they've put a solid guide rod in there, and SIG makes it themselves. I called and talked to them, writing an article about guide rods on the SIGs, and I talked to them, and they make it themselves. And you can actually buy new old stock SIG solid guide rods that they used to do way back in the 80s. But again, nothing magical. It does add some weight to the gun a little bit and helps you keep the gun on target for follow-up shots. Again, it's just another little tweak that when you add it all up, you get something that's greater than the sum of its parts. So there you go. That's the Legion. Whether or not you want to buy all the add-on stuff, that's up to you. Whether or not you think it's worth it, it's up to you. Before you hate on it too much, though, and call it just marketing hype, do yourself a favor and shoot one. And then if you're going to badmouth it, I'll respect you a little more. But I have yet to hear someone shoot it who didn't go, oh, okay, I kind of see what it's all about. That trigger and that action really is, I think, the secret sauce to what makes the Legion special. And all the grip stuff, I mean, you know, the X series feels kind of like that, except for this this beaver tail. But the combination of these grips, the beaver tail, the undercut, the checkering, that balance, the sights, with an MSRP of just over 1,400 bucks and really a street price of about 1,100 in your hands, I think you're hard pressed to beat the deal. If you can look past the marketing hype, and yeah, there's a lot of marketing hype, but that aside, I still think it's a decent gun and worth the money. If you want to talk more about the Legion, come on over to Facebook. I admin the SIG Sauer Legion Owners Facebook group. That's another group that kind of sounds like that, but you want SIG Sauer Legion Owners. Come in and join. Whether or not you're a Legion owner or a future owner, come in and you can talk more about the Legion, and we have some fun in there. Get out there, have fun, get your Legion dirty. I'm about to get it really dirty, and I'm about to do another video series comparing a bone stock 226. I changed the grips. I'll put them back before I do the video. A bone stock 226 and upgrading as many pieces as you can to get closer to the Legion specs. That should be kind of a fun video series that goes with an article I wrote for realgunreviews.com. Stop by the site, subscribe to our channel here if you like it. Get out there, practice, practice, practice. So the first time you have to pull that sweet intermediate trigger with the minimal reset, the first time you have to pull it, make sure it's not the first time you have pulled it. Have fun and stay safe out there.